Good afternoon or evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Unpopular Review Entertainment Edition. So tonight we're going to be talking about the best movies in the Avenger MCU, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be Captain America: Civil War. So let me introduce one of my co-hosts here. We got the executive consultant. Hi.
What's going on, everybody? I apologize. I'm not in full mode today. I don't have the executive consultants, so I can make sure that everybody's better. But I am a little bit thrown because you start off by saying it's the best movie in the MCU, and yeah, a little disturbed by that comment, a little disturbed. But let's go ahead and find out other people's opinions. Unfortunately, the Mark Victor Rodriguez is unable to join us today. However, we do have all our other co-hosts. Here's one of them right now, the mystery, and I didn't get to see his name today. What is his name today? Visual bullshit. Okay. All right.
Nice.
So
there you go.
Interesting.
Well, listen,
Interesting. How are you doing today, James?
I'm doing great. I'm sweating in this humidity, picking up the virus. But listen, going back to high school, I want to keep traditions going up. I'm going to agree with Chris once again and follow in his wake. Chrissy, I cannot believe you started the show by saying that this is the best Marvel picture.
You guys are delusional
if this is the best one, it's all down from hill. Nobody tune in the following weeks because we've got nothing else. According to Chrissy, this is better than Black Panther. This is better than either one of the Infinity Wars. Okay,
yeah,
the best one tonight. The best one. Wait for my review. You're gonna love
it. And filling in for the Mark Victor Rodriguez is none other than unpopular reviews own. This is not his name. The UPR World Champion, Spider Jack.
I was in there for a minute, but hi everyone. Captain America: Civil War. I don't think it's the best Marvel movie, but it was top 5. I would say.
It's the best.
I'm comforted by that age-appropriate Peter Parker.
Oh, age appropriate. Yeah, he was like 19 or something when he shot this movie.
No, he was supposed to be a high school kid fighting assassins. That's what I mean about age appropriate. Why is this child there?
Because he's kick-ass.
No. The whole reason why Tony signed the Accords was because the woman lost her son, who was actually an adult, but he brought the child to a fight.
That's true, but he had no other option because
yes, he did.
Okay, because they were split.
Options. There are all Chris.
Who did he have on his side? Black Widow, who has no powers. He has Vision, who was just created 2 weeks ago.
That's bad.
He has who else? What's his name? Rhodey. Again, no power, just using a second suit.
Yeah. So tell the movie why we put children in danger, Chrissy. Go ahead.
Look, okay, because for one,
yes,
Spider-Man had powers without the suit, so he already had these abilities.
Ladies
so
and gentlemen,
putting his life at risk over there in Queens, so he can help the world and Tony Stark.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and summarize this movie before Chrissy defends the nonsensical. Okay, but hold on. Here we go. All right. So following the fallout of the destruction of Sokovia during the battle with Ultron, the Avengers each deal with the repercussions of their actions as the world governments begin to question the collateral damage that always follows the team. Further complicating the events is the assassination of several world leaders, specifically the King of Wakanda, which brings in the Black Panther seeking revenge for his father and countrymen's death. And that essentially is the plot of the film. But Chrissy, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was saying that Black Panther is the best.
and yet he didn't have the best movie. And yet he didn't have the best movie. Your word.
No, he did not. Well, we'll talk about that movie when it comes.
Oh, okay.
But Black Panther is awesome, but Captain America is my favorite Avenger. I'm just going to put that out there.
Okay.
But the reason why this movie was the best for me was because it told more of a story, like how the dynamics are within the group. Because the other ones, they were like very much focused on the bad guy. And of course, this is a superhero movie, so there is going to be like a bad guy to fight. But this one, it seems to have more like interwoven dynamics as far as their relationships.
You love that there was layers to this movie.
Yes.
There you go.
It was more than just the action film. It was more than just a superhero film.
I'll give you credit for that. I can see why you say that.
So yeah, the best. I'm glad we can all.
No. I can see what you said. I was very clear what I said. Don't try and co-op. Listen,
before
if you just make the statement of it's the best movie, no. But saying hearing why you think it's the best movie, being it's interwoven and there are a lot of plot threads, I'll give you credit for that. But I still don't think it's the best one.
Well, since we all can agree that I was right on that, I want to bring our attention to something else I was also right on. And because I'm petty, I went back to find the clips. So
I agree.
Women are naturally petty.
I agree. Go ahead.
A couple of shows ago, if you all can recall, during the Winter Soldier episode, there was a debate on if Captain America could beat Iron Man in a hand-to-hand combat. So just a refresher with memory. Let's play a little clip here.
Remember that scene in Avengers where it was him and Tony going at it, and he was like, "Yo, put on the suit so we can go head to head." At first, I was like, he better just relax because Iron Man about to hand it to him. But for real, Captain America might have got that one, Roshi. If it was just a hand-to-hand combat type thing, Captain America, Chris, you're making that funny face, but it's true. If it was just a hand-to-hand combat, look, Tony Stark was fighting with Happy in the boxing ring, about to get knocked the fuck out by Happy, and he's just a regular human. Can you imagine if he was fighting Captain America?
So your argument, so to speak, is Steve Rogers versus Tony Stark or Captain America versus Iron Man?
He said put on the suit, so I'm assuming it would be Captain America versus Iron Man. So if they were just doing
you think that Iron Man will lose to Captain America?
If it's a close combat, yes, because Iron Man is not good at close combat. He's good at like far away shot, distance, flying off and doing different things. But if it was just hand to hand and they're close right next, it would definitely Captain America would hand him.
I'm glad you made that comment because this makes me address a comment I saw earlier. Our very own Big Daddy Cool Stephen Pena said that with that outfit you look like Kill Bill, and stuff like that, which I understand. That movie sucked. And that movie was wrong. It should never been made, and neither should have comment because Iron Man would never lose to Captain America in a hand-on-hand close combat or far away. That would not happen.
Crazy.
Not happen.
You're crazy.
Wow.
Who was right?
Now listen. I wish I could comment on that, but I could never hear with these little.
You are aware that James can't hear the videos. No. Did you forget that?
I did.
Let me say this off bat. Shout out to Dr. Claw in the lower left-hand side of that flashback sequence, aka Power Skill. Shout out to my new ring light now that you can see me. But if Chrissy, your argument was that Captain America could beat Iron Man, and you said that then, and then you think this movie proves that in this one, I call visual bullshit.
It does.
And I'll break down that scene later. But please go on with your diatribe of nonsense. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I'll tell you why. Because even Iron Man's little Surrey suit, little girl was talking to, said that he could not beat Captain America.
No, it did not say that.
Yes,
it did not say that. What she said was you cannot beat him in hand-to-hand combat. That is what you said. It did not say you cannot beat him. You cannot beat him in hand-to-hand combat.
That's what my argument was. You couldn't hear it because you can't hear the video, but my argument was
in hand-to-hand combat.
Hand-to-hand, close combat, Captain America could beat him.
Now, for the viewers at home, Chrissy, can you please explain the tactical abilities of Iron Man's suit?
Explain the tactical abilities.
Meaning, does he have weapons in that suit?
Yes, he does have weapons, but again, most of his weapons are like long-range weapons.
No, it's close range because he blew off Bucky's arm. In that same scene that you're referencing, he blew off Bucky's arm. Because
Bucky was trying to claw out.
It doesn't matter why he did it. The fact is, my point is that he did do it. He blew it off.
But okay.
Hold on. I have to interject because James is speaking nonsense now. Okay.
Oh boy. Did that not happen, Chris?
No. You spewing nonsense because Captain America will never let Bucky's arm be blown off because Captain America needs that arm. No. Captain America needs Bucky's arm. I don't even want to talk about that. Give a final synopsis of the movie so we can talk and dissect the movie. I want to hear Spider Guy Jack.
Or Spider Jack. Take the light off the fact that he was wrong.
No, because I haven't even given my synopsis. I'm sorry, Spider Jack. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm
Give
trying
me synopsis.
Oh, about what I thought about the movie?
No, I want to hear James break down the movie, and then we go into the movie. That's how we've been doing it. That's how I like it.
I just did break down the movie. I just told exactly what happened.
Did it.
That whole
segment. That was crap. That was crap. We're over here. We're talking about Captain America: Civil War. We're talking about one of the biggest box office movies in Marvel, right?
I literally just said everything that happened in the movie. Chris, while Spider Jack is talking, I want you to reference and look up what a synopsis is. I literally gave the synopsis of the movie. You don't tell every scene for scene.
It was so opinionated. I can't get it.
Overall plot of the movie. This is why you can't hear, because you're always talking. The overall plot of the movie is
Hello, Pop, it's me, Kettle.
They get there, not scene for scene, fight for fight. Okay. And after I gave the synopsis, Chrissy started to tell what she thought of the movie, and she referenced something, and we were getting into a debate. That's why we were on what we're on now. But Spider Jack, please.
Your debate was inconsequential because Bucky always has to have that on.
I don't know where to pick up from because you guys had this really good debate, and I'm just lost. But
it's not a debate. I want to talk about the movie.
Just pick up on the fact that even Tony's own suit told him you cannot.
I thought that did say something. That did say something to me though, because like in that spot when she says like you can't go hand in hand, it made it clear like, oh,
I'm sorry, Spider Jack. What did you say? She said you can't go hand to hand, or
yeah, hand to hand.
Hand to hand. Chrissy, please pay attention to what this man is saying.
Hold on. I got it right here.
We are not in a courtroom. If we did,
you can't beat him hand to hand.
I love how y'all have clips prepared. That's amazing.
I don't know. I can't hear it. I
don't know what happened. Look, bad guy Jack. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Chrissy and James are not going to talk. You're not going to talk over you. I'm going to ask you a question as a lawyer to a witness. Can you break down what you saw in the video? What's going on, Tawana? Can you break down what you saw in the video that Chrissy presumed into evidence?
What, that last video? It just showed that Captain America was whooping Iron Man's ass, and his own machine said, hand to hand, you cannot compete with him.
Thank you.
Now, Chrissy, okay. Now, James, make your argument without Chrissy interrupting. Go ahead.
Is this how the show usually is? I love it.
So my argument is no argument because I follow what the movie. No, listen, I follow what the movie said, and what Spider Jack said. You cannot. No, I'm surprised by that comment. You cannot beat him in hand-to-hand combat. You cannot beat him in hand-to-hand combat. I don't understand what it is when people hear something, but they don't want to hear it, so they translate it to something else. I'm not saying it's a gender thing, Chrissy, because I have respect for you. Listen, you've been on point, but this whole thing, the start of this being the best MCU movie, are you on something? We need to call help. You can't talk, so don't speak. But all I'm saying is this. It said clearly, you cannot beat him in hand-to-hand combat because he's a better hand. I never made an argument that that Tony Stark was a better hand-to-hand combatant than Steve Rogers. I never made that argument. I said that Iron Man, who is Iron Man in the suit, he's Tony Stark out of the suit, okay? It's not like Batman and Bruce Wayne, okay? So Iron Man could beat Captain America. By the way, let me just really piss you off. Captain America is not heavier than the thrust and the lift of a helicopter. He's not strong enough.
I agree.
Not strong enough to hold the helicopter from pulling off.
Did you see that bicep though? I've only seen better looking biceps when I look in the mirror.
His shield, Chris, you can't interrupt either. His shield, okay? His shield can't reflect bullets the whole movie and every other movie, but then when Iron Man shoots the repulsor at it, it just absorbs and dissipates the energy. It doesn't get to do that. We can't have magic. This isn't Doctor Strange, okay? This is Civil War. By the way, this was the weakest fight I've ever seen in any Civil War, okay? You had people slapping each other, people who were really angry. You had children involved. You had ex-cons involved. For whatever reason, they just, in the last movie, they wanted nothing more than to see their daughter. They got a free pass, and the first thing they do is fanboy out and say, I'm going to risk my freedom and me to see my daughter again to help you out, Captain America, because I'm a big fan. Where's the internal logic in these movies? Spider Jack, let me finish by saying what I said in the beginning. Chrissy was absolutely wrong. Thank you for being absolutely correct. Okay? Thank you for agreeing with what the movie said and not what you just wanted to hear. That's all.
Wait. Okay, I think there's confusion because you don't have the audio. In the audio, I said that Captain America can beat Iron Man in a hand-to-hand close combat fight. That's exactly what I said.
And I disagree with you.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree because even Tony Stu told him that you can't beat him. So as long as the movie agrees with me, I'm all good.
I'm sorry, just so we can
but go ahead. We're over talking.
Can you tell me how his shield works? Because I don't understand how bullets bounce off. Thor's shield, it can create a wave that he can shoot at enemies in the last movie. or in Age of Ultron. But in this one, when Tony shoots the shield, nothing happens. The energy is just dissipated. But it's enough power to blast off Winter Soldier's arm.
That you have to talk to the Russo brothers and
Oh,
whoever directed
okay, I got
Age of Ultron.
Let me talk to them. All right, they directed this movie.
What's going on, Charmaine?
Yeah, but they directed the good ones. Like they directed Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier was good.
No, it wasn't. Bullets bounced off of that shield too.
Winter Soldier wasn't good.
Bullets bounced off that shield. He held up a concrete building. He was super strong.
Okay, what about Jack, Chris? You guys are real quiet over there. What are your thoughts?
I mean, even it's amazing when two people are having a disagreement, and even I'm speechless. And that's what happened right there. It's amazing to see. Look, I'm still dumbfounded by you saying Captain America: Civil War was the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. That does leave me a little bit dumbfounded. I do believe that Captain America can be Iron Man in a hand-to-hand combat. Because I think Captain America is a little stronger, as you can see from him pulling a helicopter. I think he's a little stronger, as you can see from him pulling Bucky and Falcon and Pornhub. Look, here's my point. All right, this whole movie is about friendship breaking down. The problem with this movie is there was no true villain, which is in certain ways is good. My problem is they try to manifest a true villain in this movie, which was Baron Zemo. But the reality is, depending on whose side you're on, whether you're on Iron Man's side or whether you're on Captain America's side, that the other person is actually your antagonist, and that person you're representing is your protagonist. So my question to the three of you is, whose side were you on in this movie, one by one? And we'll start with Spider-Man, Jack here. Who was your protagonist in the movie? Who's your antagonist? Whose side were you on? Try not to be biased because Spider-Man was on Iron Man's side. Go ahead.
Oh, that was towards me. That was a shot towards me. So, but no, I really was on Team Iron Man. Like, I really was, even before the whole thing with Spider-Man. Original, and it's rough. Matter of fact, no. Let me go with this. Originally was Iron Man. I thought he had the better team, obviously. But when it came down to, no, he had the better team. Don't shake your head at me. But when it came to the...
I'm shaking my head at that comment.
When it came... Oh, my bad. When it comes to the Accords, I had to kind of go with... Because, like, with the Accords, right? Iron Man was for, yes, we need to be put in order. We need to be checked. But Cap was like, look, we're gonna have fatalities, we're gonna have things, but if they tell us when we can and can't go, that's gonna be a problem. So I was more with as time went on, I was team. That's my boy right there. But I was Team Cap when it comes to Accords.
All right.
Oh, that's my answer.
Hold up, I'm lost. Can I follow up with that? You said you were on Team Cap because of the Accords. So what made you Team Iron Man?
Spider-Man.
So what you're telling me is, when I first presented the question and I said, don't be biased because your little stupid ass hero is like, you just totally said,
laugh because
what you saying, right?
That's so good. I like that. I didn't think you could laugh. That's so cool. But no, I did think
I laugh at idiocy.
Huh?
I laugh at idiocy.
Oh, there we go. Thanks, Squidward. But I was trying to make my point of like when it came to the fighting scenes and everything like that, I thought Iron Man's team was better. I did, in fact, think that was better. But when it comes to the Accords, I was more with Cap because Cap made sense with it. And I just wanted to throw this part up. You point out like who was the antagonist, protagonist, and all that stuff. I just thought it was amazing in this movie because as you see these movies, there's always the ending is always with the villain, right? I always thought it was incredible. I thought about this recently as I was saying, oh man, we're going to review this movie. I really love this movie. This movie was great. I remember seeing it twice when it came out. But I said, wow, Iron Man was really the final boss in this fucking movie. And I thought that was incredible. But I just wanted to throw that out there because he was the final boss. I would have never, it's like playing a Sonic game and you're facing Sonic. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm a nerd.
I don't know too many people who play the Sonic game nowadays. I made a mistake. One, because I thought you were going to make it make sense when you were talking and you didn't. Two, I was supposed to do the gentleman thing and let ladies first. So see the Superior, go ahead and explain why you think Captain America, because I already know you, why you think Captain America was in the right.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Don't egg him on, Mark.
Squid.
I believe that Tony had the right idea behind why he wanted to do it because he did want checks and balances and all of that. But the problem is with Tony is that once he thinks that something needs to be done, suddenly that's what has to be done, regardless of what anyone else on the team thinks and anything to the contrary. Because the same thing happened with in Age of Ultron when everyone's telling him like, look, you need to leave it alone. He decides to do it in countless other examples. But the reason why he's wrong in this movie is because he's leaving the checks and balances up to this government agency who could be taken over. It's like the person that he wants to kind of lead the Avengers are necessarily someone that's proven to be trustworthy. Because with Shield was kind of like taken over by Hydra, with unbeknownst to like a lot of Shield members. So I know that the people that they were trying to get in charge of it weren't Shield, but if Shield can be overtaken, who's to say that this other organization couldn't be overtaken? But anyway, I'm with Cap because he always has the best ideas, pretty much. So yeah, I was on his side.
All right, fair enough. Visual, because I won't say the second part. Visual.
Yes.
Whose side were you on?
Whose side?
Is he frozen? I think he's frozen.
I think he's frozen.
You froze him up, Chrissy. Look at that.
That was right there. Look.
It's the truth.
No, I'm back. Sorry, it's about to storm over here.
Thank you.
I pick my names, because I think that they should be a hint as to what I thought of the movie. And Chris is right when he says that. Okay. Let me go back to something he said. This movie had no real villain, and it's about the breakup of friends. I would disagree in that I don't think any of them are really friends, because we haven't seen that, and this movie proves it. What do I mean by that? Mainly, this movie is about whether or not people want to sign the Sokovia Accords, right? Now, what I didn't like about this movie is Captain America is supposed to be the Boy Scout, right? He's Marvel's Superman for all intents and purposes, right? Superman always is going to do the right thing, even if it means at his expense. That is what makes a person a hero, right? Even if it's the risk of your death, okay? So when the world, not a shadow organization of people who are selected because we don't know how, and before we knew even Hydra was in it, Steve Rogers was absolutely okay with following Nick Fury, and he didn't even know a shadow organization run by whomever across the globe. He didn't know anything about that, but he was okay with that. In this movie, for whatever reason, even though the point's raised, okay, and we're not given any reason to believe that they have ulterior motives, right? We just know that, listen, they're saying New York, Sokovia, what they did in where was that? In Lagos, in Nigeria, and I forget where else they said. Okay, they leave out Harlem, for when the Incredible Hulk rampaged through there. These are legitimate points, and if we're going to believe that they have superpowered beings in the real world, the same as in Spider-Man: Far From Home, when Mysterio wanted to be the new Iron Man and wanted to get the world's adulation, right? Okay, why wouldn't the world want to hold these people accountable? You couldn't have a soldier just like if in our world, right? You couldn't just have a soldier go around the world being the world's jury and executioner, doing whatever they want. You can't even go into another country without the proper paperwork. But these heroes, they just do that all the time. We've seen that in every movie since day one. Iron Man, if he wanted to. Okay, so the Sokovia Accords about them saying, "Hey, you don't have the unilateral right to do that." That is a valid point. And Captain America never says, "Hey, remember that Hydra infiltrated this thing." If he had said that, then he would have a leg to stand on, in my opinion. But he never brings that up. He just says sometimes the best hands, even if there's collateral damage, are still our own. Well, nothing that happens in this movie, okay, when he's the one training this new team of Avengers, and he brings, as he describes Wanda as a child, he describes her himself as a child. He brings her to this fight to fight people who are killers. He knows that, and she manages to kill civilians. Now, these are Cap's own words, right? So by his own words, he knows that his aren't the best hands, but he thinks that he has the right to unilaterally make a decision. We see this again when Bucky is implicated. Now, all the evidence at the time said that Bucky was guilty. Now, if he said, I'm bringing Bucky in so I can make sure he's not killed on the streets, then that's fine. But he went out to find Bucky just to save him and take him away from capture. Do you see what I'm saying? And that isn't right. He doesn't have the unilateral decision just to do that. Now, my problem with and so that's why I would say I lean towards Team Iron Man if we're going to say something like that. Now, my problem, and that's just as far as right and wrong, right? Now, my problem with Tony Stark is this, and this is something we see in every one of the movies, and it irks me as just a viewer of the movie. There is no fucking growth. Excuse me. There's no growth in his character with Tony Stark, and I'm glad Black Widow calls him out on that. Do you ever put aside your ego? You don't get to just decide everything. You don't get to keep secrets, right? And I like that she called him out on that because he does not grow. He does not change. And that pisses me off. How are you so damn smart? You can build all these magical gadgets because we never see the legwork, but he just has it because he needs it, because the script says he does it. And it's just visual, fill in the blank. Okay? That's nonsense to me. It doesn't make any sense. The suit can do all these different things. He can create a suit for Peter Parker in the time it takes to cross the couple of countries in Europe. But he
But okay.
So let me just close by this. Let me just close by saying this, right? So there's no growth in that. But then you have the Boy Scout, as I said in the beginning, who knew from Winter Soldier that his friend, even if he was under the influence of he didn't know what, but he knew he wasn't in his right mind. Yeah, he didn't know why he did it, but he just knew he wasn't in his right mind, or he had a gut feeling, right? He doesn't tell Tony who he said he's his friend.
It's true.
He doesn't get the right to do that. That is a major thing. You know this man, whether he's immature or not, you know that fragmented his brain. You see what I'm saying? He never got over that. You keep that a secret and say, hey, you have a right to know this. He just keeps a secret. But he objects to Wanda being kept at the Avengers facility, not in chains, not in a cell, but at the Avengers facility where people from the outside can't get to her, where she protected. You see what I'm saying? So that this calms the world down. Tony never said that was indefinite. He just said, hey, she killed people. She doesn't know how to control her powers, which is a true statement. Even she was unsure of herself. And Captain America knows that. She's a child who was genetically engineered to whatever level, right? She needs to learn how to control her powers. We need to calm the world down because they have a valid point and people do get hurt. You know what I mean? Whether we walk away or not. And Captain America completely just dismisses that, but never when it comes to Bucky. What is the double standard?
That's a fair point, and this is things I didn't really think so much thoroughly about. And I think that's the really cool thing about this, because you brought up your point, and I know, like, same with you, Mr. Superior, like, everyone have their fair point on what's right, what's wrong. I don't know, because I feel like with this movie, right, like, if you brought up all the really great points on why Iron Man was, you was Team Iron Man, right? And same with you, Chris.
I'll say I agree with his logic.
Right. Okay. All right, no, that's cool, that's fine. But I almost felt like there was no right or wrong. And it sounds silly.
I agree.
But there was like no right or wrong when it comes to this decision making. Like if he was Team Cap, you understood why he. For me, when it came to everything he was saying, he was right. And I'm not saying fatalities that's okay. I'm not saying that's all right, fine. But he was making a point of like things happen. But if let's say we lose 100 people, but we could save 2,000 people. I think we have done our job. I think that was that. I feel like that was his point on what he was trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
But my only problem is he never verbalizes that. So we're left to infer something based on nothing. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas we know that he had information as to who was Tony's parents' killer, right? If you had information like that, let's say of somebody robbing a bank, there were no fatalities, and you didn't come forward with that, that's a felony charge. Mm-hmm. You understand that, right? We have laws for that because you don't get to just know that. You can't even just be a getaway driver and not have the gun on somebody. You just drove the car. You're still part of that. If somebody gets hurt, that's still felony murder, right? If somebody dies, that's felony murder. You were a part of that, right? You knew that there would be an obvious chance that somebody would get hurt. Captain America knows that. So for Captain America to say, even though, we saved 2,000 people, it's okay that 20 people died. Captain America should not ever say that. That goes against who his character is. That's a fact. That's not arguable.
No, I understand.
It is arguable if you are possibly the president of the United States because he says stuff like that all the time. Anyway, in the meantime, I feel like you got to say enough for yourself and me in that whole time. So we're going to take a small commercial break. When we come back, I'm actually going to tell my opinion if it's okay because I see James is going on a tremendous rant here. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after this brief message.
Thank you for watching this edition of The Unpopular Review. If you like what you're watching, please subscribe to us on our social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at UPRYEPILW. Also, while you're at it, subscribe to our friends at Yep I Like Wrestling on the same social medias at YEPILW. Yep.
Oh, you know what? I need to look at that mobile edition thing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Unpopular Reviews Entertainment Edition. Executive consultant joined today's special guest, Spider Jack, whatever he wants to call. Seated Superior up there as well as Visual Bullcrap today. And they're over here, and we're talking about who we think is the protagonist and the antagonist of this movie. I said before, it's really a football game, a basketball game, a wrestling match. And you pick sides of who you want to see win. Unless you're Visual Bullcrap, who just gave you a reason why you should dislike both people and probably have Thanos take over the world. But in the meantime, I'm gonna tell you who I believe should go ahead. Argue your point. You want to go on another 10-minute rant? No, I had to go because my phone was overheating, but I had it up on my laptop. I'm like, damn, Jake, just going on. Much like
you on,
Bucky and Falcon were going on and on about who can start with Captain America first in the bedroom. Anyway, here's my point, and here's my problem, okay? Iron Man is clearly the protagonist. I don't understand how anybody says anything different. The man was completely right. He was absolutely correct in everything that he said. Look, I forgot her name, but Miranda from Luke Cage came in, and she said, hey, do you know all the trouble that you have caused? And it woke up something in Tony. It woke up something in Iron Man when he realized that they were doing horrible things to the people of Earth. Okay? The people of Earth are what matters. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. So then Captain America comes in his self-righteous ways. Yeah, Chrissy, I'm talking about your boy. He comes in his little self-righteous ways and he said, oh no, the needs of the one, my boyfriend Bucky, he outweighs everything. So no, don't interrupt. I didn't interrupt you, okay? I didn't interrupt you, okay?
You were here.
Wakanda Forever's father passed away, right? Right? Probably killed for bad acting. All right, so he passed away. He got killed. All right, all the evidence points to Bucky. What does Cap do? I don't want to listen to evidence. I don't want to listen to everything that I see and everything that's pointing to you because you're my man, and I don't think Falcon's enough for me. So he goes on a run, right? All those Spice Girls videos slowing Chris's laptop down. No, it's not. Don't even do that. So he goes on a run, and Iron Man says, oh, this is not acceptable. We're already causing so much trouble. He's like, you act like I'm taking away your shield. I'm not taking away your shield. I'm saying we need to regulate. We regulate nuclear weapons. We over here talking about the Second Amendment. We're over here preaching and marching about what cops do and stuff like that. We're trying to regulate them. Yeah, you damn right. You have a tremendous amount of power within the Avengers, minus Falcon. We need to go ahead and we need to regulate what's going on. Why is that a problem? Why? Because Captain America doesn't want to do it? Right? No, that's a problem for me. Then we're not even going to talk about the climax of the movie because I hate talking about Captain America and climax because he does it too much with Falcon and Bucky. But let's talk about the climax of the movie. The climax of the movie is talking about the fact that Bucky actually killed Tony's parents. But Captain America says, oh, no, we got to let you get away with that one, too, because you're my boyfriend and you're on your knees begging me to.
Okay.
I think that's what you're doing.
We are leaving out the fact that Bucky was not himself during these killings. So that's the reason why he wanted. He's he's not saying Bucky shouldn't have to answer for what he did. He's saying that people should be aware that Bucky was not in control of himself before they rushed to judge what happened to him. He was under mind control. He couldn't control that he killed Iron Man's parents. And he went to confront Bucky once the explosion happened that killed T'Challa's dad. And at his apartment, he saw that Bucky was more of himself. And Bucky said that he hasn't been killing. He doesn't want to kill anybody. He's not like that. So he believes him that, okay, Bucky didn't do this to this person. They go about trying to find proof of who actually blew up the building there. But
may I ask a question since you interrupted me, Superior?
Yes.
If there's something wrong with the fact that he had to go and find proof, right? Because Captain America, last time I checked, was not under arrest. He wasn't on the run or anything, right? Why didn't he just turn Bucky over to your proper authorities and then go find the proof himself? Is that out the realm of possibility here?
Because, okay, for one, when he was at his apartment, they wasn't even trying to hear. They were shooting at them. They was about trying to kill them. So he had no really time to react.
Wasn't Bucky already trying to be on the run?
What do you mean? What is him being on
the run? If I remember correctly, he was setting up traps like he was the child from Home Alone. He was setting up traps to go ahead and protect himself and then go on the run. I mean, if he just laid down.
Captain America didn't even get the opportunity to even turn him in if that's what he chose to do. Because as soon as he showed up at Bucky's apartment,
Bucky was running.
Here comes the artillery. They were shooting through the door, shooting through the window, trying to kill them.
Bucky was running. Bucky's been on the run for years. Bucky's been on the run for years. Look, Bucky is mentally unstable and he needs help. At the end of Captain America: Winter Soldier, he killed a few people in that movie. And then he tried to kill Cap, but because Captain America said the 3 words, I love you, right? Or I should add more than 3 words. I love you more than that woman in Titanic loves Jake, or where the hell this guy is that he let sink to the bottom of the sea. Look, he ran away. He's been on the run. People are not going to just go and say, hey, knock, knock. Hello, serial killer. Do you mind?
Why didn't Cap just turn him in?
He should have turned Bucky in. He should have turned Bucky in. Captain America felt like he was self-righteous. He felt like he was better than everybody. He felt like his 1940-year-old self was more important than anybody in the year 2016, and he knew more than him. This is exactly why I have a problem. This movie was a little made up. I mean, I like the movie. Don't get me wrong. And we'll talk more about that.
Yes, because it wouldn't
No. You're right. It wouldn't be a movie. But you know the reason why this movie was made? You know the real reason why this movie was made with all these people in, and then they dished out money for Spider-Man? Yeah, go ahead and get a harder one, Ron. They dished out this money for Spider-Man. It's because they were trying to defeat and beat Batman versus Superman, which came out a couple weeks after. That's the only reason why they threw all these damn characters together and made it Avengers 2.5. Excuse me?
It came out before, and they didn't need help to beat that movie.
It came out a couple months before.
It came out the same year. It's a fact. They made this movie to go against Batman v Superman.
But DC came out in March, and this one came out in May.
Yeah, they made this movie because they heard that BVS was being made. That's a fact. And you know, studios have to select the month that they want it to come out. Okay, so the MCU had a track record of making billion-dollar films, so that's why they got the summer.
They wanted to hit Batman versus Superman where it hurts because they know Batman versus Superman is 2 of the most popular comic book characters in America. Well, actually, planet Earth, and people are anticipating this movie, so they had to go out there and do it. Because right now, at this time, Marvel Cinematic Universe was, as James said, multi-billion-dollar. I mean, they could do no wrong. People make excuses for them all the time. I can give you an example, Chrissy. At the beginning of this episode, you can rewind it and it will say Captain America: Civil War is the greatest Marvel Cinematic Universe movie of all time. People make excuses for visual bullshit. And that's why they threw Spider-Jack in there. See what I did right there? Look, all I'm saying is there's a problem with this movie, and I have to. What's going on? What's going on, Chastity? And all I'm saying is there's a problem with this movie. And Willie, how come you not been in any videos lately? Willie must be watching, or is he in the comments?
It's in the comments.
Chris Harris, you suck talking Marvel. Oh, there he is. There it is. Guess what? You're suck coming on the show. All right. So anyway, that's the case right there, and you just have to consider all of that when you're talking about it. And yes, I'm still going to be more of a DC guy. But I know more about Marvel than you, and I know more about Marvel movies than you, Willie. So until you are ready to hop on a show for more than 2 minutes before you decide you want to go, don't come for the excellence.
But again, Marvel didn't have to do much to top that that movie, honestly.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to do that when we talk about Batman vs. Superman, which, in my opinion, was better than this movie by far.
But Batman v Superman?
Yes.
Was better than this movie by far.
They had a lot of similarities, but I'm not sure how you think it was
better. Whoa. What similarity did you see? Don't do that.
Besides the fact that it's two heroes, two like groups of heroes going up against each other. Besides the fact that there's a human villain, main villain, that's pitting them against each other. But what's other similarities are there's plenty. The fact that there's the death of a parent that kind of, or the stop the death of a parent that kind of dissolves everything. It's a lot of similarities.
You know what? I always admired the fact that you were so tall, because it takes a tall woman to be able to reach like that. Here's all I'm saying. That was a reach. You just reached. There was no similarities between Batman vs. Superman and Captain America: Civil War, except for one was mediocre and one was an excellent cinematography. That's the only difference between. I mean, you can't do that. You can't go there with me. Don't do that. You better stop. Don't start counting. Don't start.
Yes or no? Lex is a human who has no powers. Lex Luthor. Who's the villain in this movie? A human who has no powers.
Are you joking?
Who knows a villain?
Are you joking?
Who knows a villain?
No. Because you said there's no similarities. The second similarity is this human that has no powers pitted the two heroes against each other. So he was able to use to get Superman to fight against Batman, just like this human in this video was able to get Iron Man to fight against Captain America by revealing that Bucky was the one who actually killed his parents. There's similarities here. If you don't want to acknowledge them, that's fine, but they're there.
Percy, I hear what you're saying, but I disagree with some of them. I want to touch on some of the points. And Spider Jack, please interject at any time if you want to. To answer your question or the point that you raised up, when the Interpol or whoever that was, when they came after Bucky, you have to remember this follows the events of Winter Soldier, where he literally destroyed a government facility and ravaged DC, right? Okay, and brought destruction. So that is the last thing that they know of him, besides all the evidence pointing to the fact that he just killed several world leaders and world officials. So why they wouldn't come in there guns blazing?
Right.
That seems like a very seriously, Chrissy.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't have, but I'm saying that.
So put that last comment back up, Ron. Put that last comment. The comment before that. Put that comment back up.
Captain America didn't even have the chance.
No, the one before that.
Hear this. There's no point in the movie.
Keep that up there, because as soon as James and Chrissy are finished, hopefully in the year 2020, I'm gonna address that. Go ahead.
There's no point in the movie where Captain America goes there. Remember, when Captain America first sees Bucky, he's looking at him to see if he's in his right mind. Even Captain America says, the last time we met, you tried to kill me or something like that, or you were choking me to death or whatever like that, or you pulled me out the water, right? Why did you do that? Are you in your right mind? Are you not in your right mind? So even Captain America knows, but he doesn't say, hey, I'm going to bring you in alive and make sure. He just says, I'm going to help keep you alive by any means necessary. That is not right. We can't have a debate on right or wrong. How come civilians have to follow the law, but Captain America doesn't? Only when it comes to Bucky.
Ask that to Captain America, to Iron Man. Ask why Iron Man doesn't.
Only when it comes to Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch killed people because she was not trained in how to use her powers, and Captain America brought her over there. There's a reason why, even though Tony Stark, because as you say, he needed some firepower on his team, when he saw that Peter Parker got knocked down into those boxes, he said, "You're done, kid. Stay down. Get out of it. Don't interfere anymore." You see what I'm saying? Because he realized and he came to himself. And he said, you're just a kid. Okay? You're just a child. Now, I will say this about Batman v, because the movie is not Batman versus, it's Batman v Superman. That movie is about philosophical differences. So if anything, that's the only comparison I would say about the two movies. Not that they're two regular humans in the movie. That doesn't make a comparison. But that fact that it was about philosophical differences, right? Lex Luthor manipulating two people. One who had been severely damaged throughout his life and saw people die over and over and over, and someone who just appeared on the planet, an alien who we know nothing about, who has the power to destroy everybody, who is a foreseeable threat. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you see what I'm saying? Captain America defending somebody who is not in his right mind, keeping secrets from his teammates, defending people who should not be defended, taking people who are not ready to be in a fight just because he needs firepower there. That doesn't make any sense. You can't.
Well, I don't think it was a firepower thing.
Huh?
I don't think it was the firepower thing. Oh, you're not talking about
firepower about Scarlet Witch.
My bad.
That doesn't make sense. You can like Captain America, but he's wrong in this movie. Chris is absolutely right. Captain America was the antagonist. Captain America leaves the shield. Why? Because he knows he's not worthy of it.
All right. So pause real quick.
Howard Stark literally was one of his earliest friends. Aside from Bucky, Howard Stark was one of his earliest friends, and he literally watched this man get his face bashed in previously, like 2 years ago, and didn't say anything to Tony. He didn't say anything. He watched his friend get beat to death by somebody not in his right mind who was still under the influence.
What was that? All right, so put that comment back up. Let me address that. First of all, the DC EU did not have Dark Knight Rises.
Even you're crazy, you're out of your mind.
They did not. But as far as a DC movie, Dark Knight Rises was not the best movie from DC. Dark Knight was the best movie from DC, and it took all of Marvel's heroes in order to beat one hero from DC. So do not ever come at me with that little bullshit that you just said. Second, I just got a message saying Willie asking me for a link for this stream. Ron, you can send Willie a link. However, no, Willie, you have 5 minutes because we're about to wrap up. So go ahead and do that. Are you all ready for final thoughts as well as thumbs up, thumbs down? See, no?
Sure.
All right, so we'll be right back again, and then we'll give you our final thoughts.
Do you want to show your love for the UPR universe? Or do you just want to show your love for Yep, I Like Wrestling? If you want to support these guys, go to ProWrestlingTees.com where you can get shirt and a lot of other merch.
So, you're supposed to be Tom's best friend that he won't shut up about. Well, I don't see the appeal. That is very...
The revolution will be live.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, watching Unpopular Reviews, executive consultant here, joining today's special guest, Spider Jack. I keep calling him Spider Jack. Spider Jack, See the Superior, as well as Visual Bullcrap up there. About to get into our final thoughts, as letting you know as well. Thumbs up, thumbs down. We'll start. Ladies first, because I messed up earlier. See the Superior, take it away. Your final thoughts.
All right. So final thoughts is that this movie was fantastic. It told a great story. It had a lot of like back information about their different dynamics in the group. It was a story about betrayal. It was a story about loyalty. It was wonderfully told. Shout out to the whoever choreographed the fights. The fights were awesome, very awesome. Even the fight at the airport. You have to keep in mind that they are friends, so they were holding that because of the fact that they were friends. But even once they decided not to, it was still an awesome fight. The only issue I've had with this movie was the fact that Rhodey should be dead because he got hit by Vision and fell, I don't know how many hundreds of miles to the ground. He should be dead. I'm not sure how he is alive to this day. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Fantastic movie. Solid swag. And we'll pray.
All right, hold on. We have a special guest, and I mean 120 seconds, boy. All right, 120 seconds, because you're going to rant, especially with it's Marvel. All right, but let's go ahead and bring the former UPR world champion on. None other than, I can't call him the Willatine Dream anymore because he decided he don't want little boys anymore.
What's going on, y'all? What's up, good people?
Yes, Steven.
What's going on?
But before I addressed the blasphemy, I heard him saying that Avengers 2.5 was in competition with Batman and Superman. Don't ever disrespect the Marvel franchise and ever say they was competing with them, because DC's most decent movie was Aquaman. That's first and foremost. So don't you ever disrespect them like the barber disrespect your headline. Don't you ever do that. And this is what a man over 30 headline looked like, Chris. Trash. Anyway, the Avengers, Civil War, we got our introduction to Black Panther in that one. It's a great fucking movie. You say Captain America battle with his A1, and he had to choose between his A1 or his new crew. And you know, real men do real shit. I got to roll with my man Bucky. And then I don't know if y'all went into it because I just tuned in, but you see what happened between Tony Stark's mother and father and Bucky. So that leads to why Captain America was able to lift the hammer in Endgame. But anyway, y'all doing
judging by your tank top and that body of yours, I don't even think you can lift a pencil, let alone Thor's hammer. But that's a conversation for another time. Thank you so much, Willie T. Willie. Willie.
Hold on. You don't get the. First of all, you talk about my tank top and you got the body of an old gym teacher. Don't you ever do that. Man, shake like a substitute teacher. Please.
Right. Yes. Okay. Well, considering the fact you're shaped like a blunt, I don't want to hear anything else from you. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to end this. Thank you so much, Willie. Thank you so much, Willie, for joining us. Former UPR champion Willie. He's still down there talking. Look at him. Look at him talking. Look how talking shit. You just get on that plane to Las Vegas, buddy. You just get on that plane. All right. Happy anniversary.
Yes.
This movie's good was because of the splintering that takes place in this movie that makes Avengers Assemble scene in Endgame so good. Very true. Very true.
Just opening the door is hot.
A lot of guest hosts in this episode today.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. So visual bullcrap. You want to take it away?
No, I was gonna let Spider Jack go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Spider. You're going to tell them about what you liked, if you like this movie or not, and give it a thumbs up and thumbs down.
I really loved this movie. There was layers to it. There was a lot of things that could have been better about it, of course. The fight scene at the airport. Now, I never really read the whole comic of Civil War. Obviously, there was a lot more stuff in it. There's a lot more heroes, but they did what they could with the players that they had. So I thought that was a fun scene. Obviously, Spider-Man fan. So when he was part of the MCU, I said, "Oh, this is great. This is cool." I thought it was a nice introduction. My only biggest thing was, how did Iron Man just know? How did Iron Man just know that he was Peter Parker was Spider-Man? I felt like that was his way of saying, "I'm smart. Everyone's an idiot." But I thought it was a really fun movie. I thought it was great. I thought there was a lot of layers, details. There was a lot of and maybe details not the word, but there's a lot of layers into it. Like Iron Man and Cap, they've always butted heads on things, but this movie, that's where they eventually said, like one of you guys mentioned earlier, Cap said before, put on the suit. Cap put on the suit and he swung. Missed. He missed. He couldn't keep up with Cap. But I thought the movie was really great. Even the ending, one of the things I pick up on, I try to pay attention to extra detail of certain things. If you listen to the music at the end, there's a certain spot where Iron Man and Cap is fighting, and Iron Man is shooting the laser, and Cap have the shield, and you can hear that's when you go, oh man, this is, the Avengers they're breaking up, they're done after this, and you couldn't wait to see what the next batch of movies are going to be now that the Avengers were separated. So thumbs up. I thought the movie was fun. I thought it was great.
Great honestly, decision.
I would say top 5. I won't say the best, obviously, but it's top 5. It's a fun movie. I think it's the best Cap movie of all of them. I think it's the best Cap movie. Why are you looking at me like that, Chris? I got some up my nose. Oh, but I think I thought it was the best Captain America movie. I know people say Winter Soldier, and they go with that, and I just didn't see it. But I thought this movie was a lot of fun. So thumbs up. I can't wait to hear what you have to say, BBS, because I know you're gonna break it down and say all these things on why this movie might have not been. Why it might have been good and not be good, but I can't wait to hear your opinion.
All right. Well, thank you, Spider Jack and See the Superior, for your biased reviews of this movie.
Okay, the Fifth Element.
Let me. No, I said I gave you. Listen. I agree with you when it didn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Or when the plot didn't make sense, I did agree. Go back and watch that movie, especially to those watching at home. Shout out to Stephen Pena for his unending wallet, where he'll see anything that comes out by Marvel because he has no standard. I just want to list 6 different things, that I thought that this movie did really, really well. No particular order. You see, Chrissy, I am fair. Number 1, I wanted to salute Data and his underage war bride with cleavage. Number 2, I wanted to to highlight the unbreakable bond between 2 soldiers and 1 DL soldier. 3, I wanted to highlight Magic Tony and his immaturity. Number 4, the reckless endangerment of children throughout this movie. Shout out to that fight scene that you highlighted, Chrissy. 5, the shield of necessity. It can do whatever it needs to do as long as the script says it. 6, Cap's Herculean feats of strength. He can do anything because he's not just the best of us. He doesn't just always know the right thing to do, but he can do anything physically, anything he needs to do. Nothing can stop him. We see this throughout the movie. Iron Man is blasting away with his thrusters. He just holds him by the ankle. That's all he has to do. The helicopter's going down. All he does is just jump down on it. He just holds it down. He's heavier than the helicopter. He can do whatever he wants. When he's holding the shield, it can refract and dissipate the energy from Tony's blaster that just blasted away his husband's arm. It can do whatever he wants it to do. So salute to those 6 things and Stephen Pena for reading my name. Now, what did I think about this movie? It was garbage. It was visual bullshit, as I said. I think I made clear points, unbiased. It happened in the movie. I'm not making this stuff up. This is not fanfic. It had nothing to do with the Civil War comic. They even had Spider-Man and Tony Stark, who played pivotal roles. Who did they need? Fantastic Four to make this movie happen? It had nothing to do with the comic. Somebody said that it sets up Infinity War because it fractured the team. When was the team cohesive? In the last movie, Age of Ultron, they weren't a whole team. They were fighting throughout that movie. Weren't they fractured then? They never liked each other. We never seen them as friends. They broke up, in fact, in the last movie. That's why you had the B team who killed all those Africans.
They were friends.
Salute to the Africans who did nothing in this movie.
I don't know about friends.
I'm giving this movie a thumbs down.
Ooh. Right. But even in Age of Ultron, they had the whole camaraderie scene where they were all trying to lift the hammer and they all were staying and drinking.
That's one scene in the movie where they fought.
I wouldn't go as far as saying that they were friends. I never thought friends so much. But I thought that there was still a healthy respect. Like, we had a common goal. Our common goal is to save the world. I wouldn't go as far.
I don't even think it was a respect. I think the only people who respected each other are Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Yeah, I think I can see why you said that. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize about that.
No, go ahead.
I see what you mean by that because they had a friendship outside the Avengers.
Respect.
Right. Yeah. I can see what you mean, and I love how you break it down. I think that's actually really good because it tells me something. I don't know. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to say you made a good point.
Okay. Well, thank you. I agree with you.
Thank you. I think you hated me, so thank you.
So what in the heck is the executive consultant?
He's making some extra money. He's making some extra money.
Squidward.
He's wiping his tears from the floor because he realized he was wrong about
look. Oh, look.
What?
That was great.
I'm sorry. No, James. I was drinking water and unfortunately I spilled it because James went on this tirade and all of a sudden he said, "Now what did I think of this movie?" Like, is that what you just said? Wow. Okay. All right. You saw always start with facts. Facts. This movie got a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb.com. Facts. This movie cost $250 million to make because they had to justify why they wanted to go up against Batman versus Superman. So they decided making one of the most expensive movies of all time. Made $1.1 billion worldwide. 408 of it came in the United States. Now, that being said, this movie had a lot of crap with it. I could tell it was forced. I could tell it was rushed. You could tell it was rushed simply because of the Spider-Man scene, because he really wasn't supposed to be in the movie. So they didn't give any explanation of how Tony Stark knew this guy, how Tony Stark knew this guy was Spider-Man. How is he just going to be able to say, hey, pop up at his aunt's place, flirt with her a little bit and say, hey, I'm taking your son on this dangerous field trip. Google me. No, nothing like that, because they had to throw it in there. But hey, nice little shout out to New York in there. But what I did like about this movie was the fact that I didn't care. It was a superhero movie, and it actually, story aside, had a lot of cool things into it, including the final fight scene between Captain America and his boyfriend, lover, husband, Bucky, as well as Iron Man, even though Iron Man was justified to be pissed off, and I was upset he did not get his revenge on Bucky with that. I mean, the very audacity, like, hey, you know what? Your friend killed my mom. You're sitting over here. Ooh, really? No, you need to die too, Mo. But anyway, and then, of course, leading to the split of the Avengers. So that being said, do I give this movie a thumbs up or a thumbs down? I'm going to give this movie a thumbs up. That will make it 3 thumbs up for this. However, I still will stand by this was not the greatest Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. However, considering the fact that out of 22 movies or 23 movies, I was only a fan of maybe 7 of them. This was in the top 4.
I want to ask this one little piece though, because like we call it, I think everyone can agree to call it Avengers 2.5, right?
Yeah.
And Thor and Hawk was in this movie. What side do you think they would have been on? Do anybody
Hawk would have been on Captain America's side. Thor would have been on Captain America's side. Both of them would have been on Cap's side.
Both been on Cap. You said it would have been both on Cap. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Hulk would have been on Captain America's side. I think Thor might have been on.
Hulk would have been on Captain America's side because he doesn't want them following him. Remember, he was on the run before Avengers.
Who are we talking about? Hulk?
The Hulk.
Yeah. Hulk doesn't want his powers to be regulated by the government because he doesn't want them to weaponize it. He feels like that's what will happen. He will weaponize it. That's why he'll be. Otherwise, I can see why you would say that, because he and
Black Widow.
He looks up to Tony Stark because he's a complete idiot. But at the same time, he has to think about the Hulk and stuff like that. But honestly speaking, they can weaponize Hulk. It's not like you can't be Hulk, because Hulk gets his ass whooped in every movie he's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us tonight. Please make sure that you join us on Monday if you're a wrestling fan for Unpopular Review Raw Edition, which is hosted by a returnee, because he's still currently on suspension, Big Daddy Cool, Steven Pena, as well as Katrina Storm. On Tuesday, please join us for our first ever edition of, I'm missing it again, but this is Family Feud, where our very own here tonight, Bad Guy Jack.
That's me. I'm Bad Guy Jack. I'm sorry.
Host a team of his family, I suppose, against Ricky the heel, the top heel of UPR's team, and they go at it in Wrestling Family Feud. That will be on Tuesday at 7:00 p.m. Definitely join us. On Tuesday, immediately after, we have a special Undertaker Thank You Undertaker Tribute Edition, where we review the career and the legacy of one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, The Undertaker. On Wednesday, please make sure you join us for Unpopular Review Gaming Edition, where we will discuss the new Xbox Xbox console that comes out later this year. A returning technician after celebrating his birthday last week, as well as the Mark Victor Rodriguez. And then the same two join us immediately after on Thursday for NXT AEW, along with week 4 of our promo battle. And then we're rounding it off on Friday. Well, we're not rounding it off on Friday. We're actually going to be here another day. I just forgot that. But let's talk about this. Bad Guy Jack, as well as the insider Dylan Kaplan, talk about SmackDown immediately after SmackDown. But here on UPR Entertainment Edition, we actually have coming up on Sunday, we got to talk about it, but change tune to UPR Yep ILW, Sonic the Hedgehog, Unpopular Review, myself, Visual Bullcrap, Cedar Superior, Spider Jackass, if he can be on this episode, so he'll be on there, and a returning Mark as we talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. I can't wait. This movie was actually entertaining. And then, of course,
it was good.
I'm not sure about the schedule for this one because next Saturday is Independence Day, but we'll talk about it. Stay tuned. Once again, Unpopular Review, Black Panther, as same 4. Talk about this movie, which was the highest grossing Marvel Cinematic Universe in a movie in the United States. and we'll sit here and we'll talk about all it and all of its Wakanda blackness next week.
Which Christy says is not as good as this one. So I just want you to know. I understand.
It's a great movie.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
do this. Don't try to. I saw Black Panther 3 times. But okay, thanks for watching, everybody.
Have a good one.